Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it so very much. I am so excited because today I have part 2 of my palette collection. This is my second tote bag. I know you can't see it, but this is actually a Pride and Prejudice tote bag that two of my good friends gave me for Christmas last year. I just love it. It has the words to Pride and Prejudice, and they make up scenes from Pride and Prejudice, so it's a really cool bag. Anyway, let's get started because this is going to take probably a long time. Well, it was all sunny a minute ago, and then clouds rolled in right in front of my window, and I can see them blocking out the sun. So hopefully this will still be bright enough that you can see my collection. As with my last video, I'm not going to actually declutter any palettes because some of them I haven't given a good enough try to, but also I want to organize them and see what I have room for because they're really disorganized right now. I will link my last video so that you can see how I've talked about storing my palettes as well. So that will be down below if you haven't already seen it. We're going to start with some of my ABH palettes. This first one is Modern Renaissance, which is most people's favorite. I have light touched maybe 4 shadows from this. So this one I definitely need to try some more because I have barely tried it at all. So yeah, and it needs more love. Next up is the Subculture, which looks like the Norvina sticker has kind of like imprinted on it, which is weird. I really like this palette. I know this was controversial, but it has such beautiful colors in it. I just was really drawn to the color scheme of that over the Modern Renaissance, which is kind of funny. Norvina is next. I've used this a few times, but I have not reached for it as much as I thought I would. I thought I would like it a lot more. I think there's some pretty colors, but I wish it was more pinky and purple. It didn't turn out to be as pinky and purple as I was hoping it would. Last in this pile is the Prism from ABH, Anastasia Beverly Hills, and that is what it looks like. I'm not going to swatch palettes because that's going to take forever unless there's something that seems like it's screaming that I need to. Next is from Tarte. This is the Lady's Night palette, and this is what it looks like. It has everything you need: some eyeshadows, blush, bronzer, and highlight. It's a really good travel palette because you get just a little of everything, and it's pretty. Next is this one, Make Believe in Yourself. I love this palette. It is almost all shimmers. There is one matte, and then they have a highlight as well. It's really pretty. I don't reach for it as much though because it's hard to find a time when I can do just like shimmery stuff. From Too Faced, this is one that I have not shown much love to at all, which is ironic since it is the Love palette and it has those little hearts. I'm showing it upside down because of the mirror, but that is what it looks like. It has some pretty colors. So yeah, this is why I need to start using some of my palettes and rearranging so I can. Next is another one from Too Faced. This is the Best Year Ever. This was the small one that was an Ulta exclusive, and it has some pretty colors. Like the Break the Ice, that's a really nice color. I like that one. Yeah, looks like I need to start using some of those too. I also have this. This is the I Believe in Pink palette. Has a blush and 6 shades. The Natural Beauty, which has a bronzer and 6 shades, very brown shades. Not my favorite, that's for sure. Then the Super Fun Night palette, which has the highlighter and 6 shades. So yeah, several Too Faces there. Next up is the BoxyCharm and Pure palette. Why is that shining like that? Whew. This one has some cool colors in it. I have not like cool tone, but like interesting. I haven't used this one very much And I should, because I've liked some of my Pure palettes, and then some of them I haven't been a big fan of. They're kind of hit and miss. Yeah. All right, next are a couple from Lorac. These are the Sunset palettes. This first one I love. This is the Desert Sunset. Oh, I've used this one quite a bit. It has just a really pretty range of colors in there. And then the other one I have here is the Mountain Sunset. I have the Ocean Sunset similar too, but I don't know where it is. This one I need to use more, because look at that green and the blue. Those would be really pretty colors to use. So that needs to happen too. Also from Tarte, this is a little one that I got. I don't know why, but I thought this one down here, the dipped in chocolate, was actually going to be more of a green shade. So I have this. I don't think I've even, it looks like maybe one color I've swatched the purple, but other than that, nope. Yeah, I need to start using some of these. I also want to do something with my background. I got some feedback that was really helpful, that the sequins were kind of hard to see with, so I took those down, but unfortunately, like, they gave a little dimension, and I feel like I am ultra white against this dark purple background, so I need to figure out something else that won't be distracting, but will also like not make the contrast weird, which I feel like it is right now. So let me know if you have any thoughts on that. Next is, this is the Tartiste. Oh, I should show you the front. The Tartiste palette from Tarte. It has some pretty colors. Nice blush in there. Very kind of safe palette. Then this one is the Energy Noir clay palette, which I think people got in the BoxyCharm, the holiday one that they did last year that everybody was upset about. This is actually a really cool toned palette. So I should try that one some more too. I'm going to try to quit saying that because it's getting a little annoying. From the Nutcracker MAC collection, this is the Sweet Cool Eye Compact. This is what it looks like. Not touched whatsoever. Yeah. I know. From ColourPop, this is the I Think I Love You palette. Which I don't think I've touched at all, which is really sad. Yeah. But I do love my ColourPop palettes. Femme Rosa. This is the Carucci and ColourPop palette. Some beautiful shades in there. Have used that one a few times. Then the Element of Surprise palette has a couple of really bright pops right there in the center. And then the You Had Me at Hello palette, which has some nice colors as well. I found one more ColourPop palette. This is the Zodiac palette by Kathleen Lights. This one actually has a mirror unlike the other ones. So there is that one. I have two from Storybook Cosmetics. This first one is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I actually have two of this because the one shadow, oh, it's all busted up. So like I said, I have this one and I have an extra one because the one I had a cracked shadow and it had completely shattered and was everywhere. So I cleaned it up really fast. This is what the palette looks like. This is, imagine a dark chocolate. I decided that I'm going to use this one and just keep the other one. Oh my gosh. So there is one of those construction barrels, you know, the orange ones, and the wind is so strong it just pushed it across the parking lot in front of my face. Yeah, that's why my lighting is a little off. Like the storm, I guess we're getting a storm. Who knows? Anyway, I decided to use this one because that dark brown, I mean, I have several shades that are kind of similar and I don't really gravitate towards those. I got this for basically every other color in the palette. So I'm going to keep the one for display, and then this one I'll actually use. Let's hope nothing happened to my other one that I have. They come in a little sleeve like this. The Wonka one came in a purple sleeve, and this one is brown because this is the Witchcraft and Wizardry palette. It has the little slip cover. I did take off the slip cover of the one I'm using because I have it up on my board here at work. It does look like a book, which is super cool. And then this is what the palette itself looks like. Really pretty colors. I need to start using this one as well. It's a newer piece to my collection, and I just haven't had a chance to use some of the colors that are in here. I'm hoping to get a chance over the holidays to do more with it. I have two from Pure that actually kind of match. This first one is the Celebrate Your Selfie from the Sweet 16, their birthday celebration. This is what the palette itself looks like. It's laid out like the number 16, which is kind of fun. It did have a drawer with lashes, maybe mascara, and a lip gloss. And then on this side, it has a two blushes and a highlighter. So that's kind of cool. This one was from BoxyCharm. This is the Midnight Masquerade. I'm still not sure how I feel about this palette. That is what it looks like. So I think it's going to take a little time for me to work on it. Two other palettes that I keep in their packaging because they are so darn cute. These are the Lime Crime Pocket Candy palettes. They look like Polly Pockets from my childhood. So that is why they're in this packaging. This is what they look like. There is 5 shades in them. They are a little bulky packaging, obviously, but that's the first one. And then the second one, this one, oh, that one was called the Sugar Plum, and this is called Pink Lemonade. And it's the bright yellow one. There are 2 others. There's a new birthday one, and then there's also a blue one, which I can't remember what the name. Those are both on my list. That yellow is so bright. It doesn't want to like show up because it's so much like the outer packaging. I think they're darling. I really like them. They're technically not eyeshadow palettes. They're like pressed pigments or something. So keep that in mind. I also have from Lime Crime Venus 1, 2, and 3 because these were 50% off at Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty. This is a beautiful palette. This is the Venus 1. I've used this one several times since I got it. I really like it. Venus 2 has some really cool stuff in it too. Wow, this one eyeshadow does not want to stay in. This one is falling out, like the actual pan, not like the shadow. But that is what it looks like. It kind of reminds me of the Subculture in some ways, which is why I really liked that one. And then Venus 3, which I know some people have had some problems with, but I actually have enjoyed this one as well. These are actually palettes that I've had a chance to try and I've enjoyed, which is pretty unusual, I feel like, with where my life is right now. 2 other palettes that I've actually tried. One is from Marc Jacobs. This is the Fantasine. This was the summer coconut kind of series. This is what the shades look like. Maybe I'll turn them this way. There's some really pretty colors in there. It's a good everyday palette. That's why I got it, because it's like a color scheme that I can quickly throw together for my go-to work looks. This palette, this is the Pineapple of My Eye palette from Tarte. I loved the packaging. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to get it. And then these shadows and highlights and blushes. The bronzer, don't like the bronzer. The highlight, the blushes, gorgeous. These eyeshadows, I've used this palette so much since I got it. It's like insane how much I've used it. I really like it. It has a little bit of everything. This actually is probably, I want it to be my go-to travel palette, but it's not a very practical like shape, you know, or size to take. But I really, really love it. I was hoping to finish up this tote bag and another tote bag, but the lighting I don't feel is good enough to continue after I quickly run through all of the rest of them that were in this bag. So I will have a part 3 as well. This is the Royal Affair palette from BH. I've only used it once, but I really just like the color scheme. I don't know, there's something very appealing about that. Same thing with this one, the Urban Decay Born to Run. I did a look with this that did not turn out that great. Not the shadow's fault. I think I was trying to be too ambitious with it, but I need to use this one because I was really excited to get it. From MAC, this is the Classic Cutie palette. I got this when it was half price at Ulta for the 21 days. Some pretty colors in there. I think there's going to be some cool looks that I can do with that. From BoxyCharm, the Nightingale palette from Pretty Vulgar. This is a great palette. Lots of cool tones in here. I think this is a good dupe for the Naked palette, but I do not have any of the Naked palettes, so I could be completely wrong. I mean, I just bought the Cherry palette, but other than that. From Tarte, this is the Goddess Glam palette. It's a face and cheek palette. Some nice colors. Another good travel palette. I have a few of those from Tarte. From Maybelline, this is the City Kits Urban Lights. That's a lot of light toned shadows. My goodness. And there's not much space between them all. Yeah. Interesting. I also have the City Kits in Pink Edge from Maybelline. If I can get it open. For some reason, I don't think I've opened this one before. Wow. We will quickly slit it open. All right. This is what it looks like. There's some pretty colors in there. I think this is a more practical palette than the other one that I just showed. I got this in my try box. This is from the Balm Meet Matchmaker. And that is what it looks like. Once again, it has some nice colors. I've used it once because I've gotten to the point where I'm just a little overloaded on all the darn palettes. And I keep buying them because they're pretty and I want more. I have this is a BoxyCharm Z palette. It's a blank Z palette, so that's something that probably doesn't belong with all my regular palettes. From Milani, this is the Everyday Eyes in Must Have Metallics. This is a really pretty palette, actually. I was really impressed with how they performed. Kind of a random one. This is from Sephora, and it is the Divergent palette. I thought it might say something more, but that is what it looks like. I actually probably could use this. There's some very neutral colors in there. So yeah. I bought it because it was on clearance at Sephora, but I wasn't a big Divergent fan, so I don't know why I got it other than I thought I might be a Divergent fan and then I wasn't. From NARS, this is the Narcissist Loaded. It took me a while to get this one, but I eventually did. It's a very neutral toned palette that I have barely used because I got it and then I got like a whole bunch of other ones. I love the other Narcissist that I have. It's one of my favorite palettes, so I'm sure I'll enjoy that one too. From Colored Rain, this is the mini palette Lovelies. There are 6 shades in here. There's a cool mixture of colors in here, but I've had trouble trying to like create something with this because I'm struggling with the combination, I will admit. Although this kind of reminds me of the Besame palette from Agent Carter. Nocturnal Shadow Box from Urban Decay. That is what it looks like. I do really like these colors, but I don't think I've had a real chance to work with them yet. So there you go. From Crown, this one came in BoxyCharm. It's kind of like a dupe for the Naked Heat or the Tarte Toasted, I believe. I don't know what it's called because it doesn't actually have a name on the palette. But there is that one. There's also the White Peach palette from Too Faced. I know a lot of people did not really like this palette, but when I used this, it created really pretty looks and lasted really well. Everything that you would expect from the Too Faced peach line. Like this one right here, oh, Shimmering Peach, really pretty shadow. So I actually did enjoy that, although I know other people did not. From Tarte, the Aspen Ovard palette. This is a great like travel palette. Every day, go to, you're running late, you grab this palette. It gives you a little bit of everything in there. Some pretty colors. It's just really, really, really shiny and reflective and not easy to film. All right, from Lancome, I have these little palettes that were in their holiday sets. This one is the Sparkling Plums. Then we have this one, which is the Glam Look Cool Palette Night. It's kind of an interesting one. And then we also have this one, which is the Cool Palette Day. Because I think I got the cool toned box. You could get like a warm or a cool tone, and I got the cool tone. These are the Academy of Color from, not Costco, Kohl's. The Berrylicious Eye and Cheek Color Palette. And it does come with a little brush in here. This is the Berrylicious palette. And then I also have the Peach Party palette, which is the same type of deal. Has the little brush in there. Some shadows. They don't smell. Some of them I thought they tried to make them smell, but they didn't. From Huda, I have the original Rose Gold palette. I thought about getting the remastered, and then I was like, why? I spent $65 on the original one. I need to stick with the original one and use it. I don't need the other one. So I did not get it, which was probably a very smart decision. It is not nearly as pretty as the packaging though, so I do keep the slip cover for it. It's one of the few. And then I have the Desert Dusk palette, which is so freaking beautiful. I love it. This color right here, Angelic, one of my all-time favorite eyeshadows. Just absolutely gorgeous. Some of them I haven't swatched yet. How did I do that? And then finally for this video, it's going to be long, and man, we still have another tote bag to do, but the Natasha Denona Tropic palette is my final one. This is what it looks like. I did get this when it was on the Weekly Wow at Sephora, so I did not pay retail because that would be insane. I mean, this is still an expensive palette. It does have some really fun shades in it. This one I loved. You can't even see it. The Mint Frost I really loved. But if you kind of cover up that bottom row, it's not as interesting. But that is part 2 of my eyeshadow palettes. I will eventually figure out what I want to declutter. I'm going through and trying different ones out. So I will do an update video probably sometime next year. Unless this goes up in January, and then I can't remember. I'm trying to get this filmed before the holidays. So I can't remember if it's coming up during the holidays or after the holidays, but it will be sometime in 2019. I will redo all of my collections and declutters and revisit and see where my collection is. I hope you are all having a fantastic day. I really do appreciate you stopping by so very much. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. If you have some of these palettes, what you have, what you don't have, what you want, I guess, maybe not what you don't have, because this is pretty excessive. I love reading your comments and commenting back, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.